Hello and welcome to this wonderful and fabulous expression of art in form of a video. Today we're gonna be talking about why the hell toys and games are so stereotypical. If we go back in time about as long as this man's beard is, we find that somewhere around here, 1,000 years before Christ, we find the first toys. These were things like marbles and yo-yos, but we as well find the first ideas of dolls. These were still pretty simple and made out of materials like wood or ivory. But let's move on to a time where toys are a little more evolved. In between we have the Greeks, the Romans, the Middle Age, and a few other ages that nobody cares about. And then we get to the industrialization. This is where things got more interesting. On 1903 we've got the invention of the first teddy bear by Richard Steif. It was a completely new thing. For the first time ever we had a toy that didn't serve a real purpose. It was soft, you could cuddle with it, and most importantly build up an emotional bond, which led to a huge success in Germany but as well in America. It showed people for the first time that you could make a lot of money with toys. Soon after we got all kinds of animals in plushie form. Then we of course had dolls, tin figures and as well first construction sets. The next important dates are the 60s, the 80s and the 90s. In the 60s we have the invention of the Barbie and Lego bricks. Both were a huge success and still are two of the most popular toys till today. In the 80s and the 90s we have the invention of the first consoles. Them and especially the video games have been embedded really well and still play a huge role today.
But how did we get to a point where toys got so stereotypical? Well, it's pretty easy. If you think back to the short stories that we read, the image of a man and of a woman were pretty stereotypical back then. A woman was supposed to do the household and take care of the children, and a man should do construction work or be in the military. And this image of a woman and man got also reflected in the toy industry. If we now take a look at toys from the 1920s, we have dolls for the females, so they can be prepared for taking care of children. And then we have construction sets and tin figures for the boys, so they can be prepared for construction work or being in the military. And since the mindset didn't change in the 20th century, the toy industry just kept going like they used to. They put out Barbies and video games and other stereotypical toys. This wasn't necessarily because companies had a stereotypical thinking and didn't want to sell toys for boys and girls, but because it was making more profit to do so.
This is because
even if we think of boys and girls today, we will see that boys tend to like police officers, firefighters and guns, while on the other hand girls like horses, dolls like Barbies. This doesn't count for all of the boys and girls, and not all of the boys and girls like to play with certain toys. And because of this majority of people that like to play with these stereotypical toys, companies will try to focus on them to achieve the biggest profit possible. But this is a double-edged sword. On the other hand, boys and girls would like to play with something else, but in the advertisements they see toys that are marketed for boys only or for girls only, so they will be pretty much brainwashed to buy the toys that the company wants them to buy so they can make the biggest profit possible.
So that's it with our video. We hope you've learned something and enjoyed it, and that's it.